Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
Things in Washington are awfully noisy.
And you can't say I didn't warn you.
An incredibly shrinking president of the United States.
Come on, man.
He blamed the generals for Afghanistan.
That's a disgrace.
He blames the general population for COVID.
That's not leadership.
Going after small businesses, making it harder to keep the supply chain moving.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. We are back after a week of R&R. Happy Columbus Day, or if you work at the White House, happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
I'd like to hear Joe Biden say that one.
He could not stumble through that at all. So who is the woke's worst enemy? Who is the progressive's worst nightmare? I would submit to you that it is a man who would be articulate, conservative, biblical, and what would really make the woke crowd really miserable is if that person happened to be a black man. And guess what? And a Republican. Does it sound familiar? Does it sound like Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson? Bingo. Mark is with us on the telephone right now. Mark, welcome back to News and Views. Good to have you with us. I can't say that the reason why that we're having you on today is any surprise to me. It might be a surprise to some of our listeners, but you're making the news again. Why? Because you are standing up for conservative biblical values. Mark, welcome in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here again, Tom. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, come through loud and clear.
Great. Yeah, same old thing. Every time we state the truth, they get angry. They try to twist our words. We untwist our words. We double down. They double down. And it's just going to keep going that way because I'm going to tell you, it's been a couple of people who said that I should resign. But those people that are saying that I should resign, they are of little no consequence in my personal life or my professional life. So that advice will not be taken. And we're going to keep moving forward because there's work that needs to be done in protecting our children in North Carolina's public schools.
Let me give you some background if you're listening in and you're not familiar with this story. Over the weekend, and the News and Observer's talking about this today, but over the weekend it hit social media that Mark Robinson, who was speaking at a church back in June, was talking about the situation in our public schools. He was referencing what was being taught in the public schools. He was referencing certain books like George by Alex Gino, Lawn Boy by Jonathan Evison, Gender Queer by Mia Kobabe. And these books are filth. And that's what you called them. You called them filth. I mean, among other things, it is child pornography described in this book, and they are available in our public school system. You called them filth, and at this point, we have North Carolina Senator Jeff Jackson has come out and said that you need to resign. The White House, the Biden White House, they can't get anything right anyway. They have come out and said you need to resign. But everything that they're talking about is taken out of context because you were referring to what was being taught in our public school system.
Absolutely, and they know that. They know exactly what I was referring to because I've told them directly exactly what I was referring to. I've stated without question that what I was referring to is what is being taught to our children and being presented to our children and being made available to our children in the public schools. And some of that content, a lot of that content is absolutely inappropriate, and some of it is just downright filth. And we're not going to tolerate it. They can call for my resignation all they want. They can call me all the names that they want. They can twist this thing all they want. But this conversation is not about people's right to be a homosexual or with transgender. That is not what this conversation is about. This conversation is about whether or not it should be presented to children. I submit to you that it should not. It definitely should not be in the classroom.
You know, we have talked about these specific books in previous programs, Mark, and not only are they filth, but they're pedophilia, which is last time I checked, a criminal offense. I mean, the least of their problems is a lieutenant governor calling this material filth. They need to be worried. I mean, the people that are pushing this ought to be worried about going to jail for what they're doing.
They absolutely should be. What's going on is criminal here. Let me state this one more time for those people who seem to have a hearing problem. In the United States of America, in this constitutional republic, you have a right to be who you are and be secure in your person. I am for that right and will protect that right. But we are not talking about your right to be transgender or your right to be a homosexual. We are talking about presenting filthy, pornographic material to children, making it available to children. We will not stand for that. I don't care what folks hide behind, what kind of social science they're trying to put behind it. The parents and teachers of this state, many millions of them, are not going to sit by while we continue to poison our children's mind with these adult-themed things that do not belong in our classrooms. And we're not backing down on this issue.
Lieutenant Governor, this is Benny. Tom and I were talking before we went on air. I asked him the question. I said, when was the last time you saw CNN or any of the corporate media, is what I call them, report on anything that a lieutenant governor says? I mean, it's kind of obvious what they're doing here. But have you been given a chance to present your side of the story other than from conservative news media outlets?
Absolutely, I have. I've been reached out. The mainstream media has reached out to me. We've done several interviews where we did exactly what we said in the speech. They reached out. They asked us what we meant, and we told them. We've also released a video on our Facebook page explaining even further what we mean and what we're going to continue to fight for. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can explain it to them. We can get all the crayons and paper we want and draw them all the nice little pictures showing them exactly what we mean, and it can make perfect sense. They are still going to twist this because the folks who are currently raging about this are not people who voted for me, are not people who support me, and will never support me. And because of that, they're screaming, they're hollering, they're bullying tactics, and yes, some of their very violent and racist messages I've been receiving. I'm totally going to ignore that, and we're going to continue to move forward.
And also, most people may not know, but some of the same books and material that you reference, the parents in Virginia have been going, up in Loudoun County and other counties in Virginia have been requesting they be banned as well. So, I mean, this isn't the first. So,
and it also shows you that it's national.
That's right. This is not an isolated thing. It's not something like Governor Cooper said, which is conspiracy-driven. This is a real issue in our public schools, and people like Roy Cooper and people like Jeff Jackson, by the way, whose district, him and Senator Chaudhary, their districts are some of the worst offenders at some of this stuff. They need to get with the program and realize that there's material in our schools that is not appropriate for children that's being presented to them, and instead of yelling at me to resign, maybe they should think about resigning because they haven't been doing their job in their district.
You know, when you gave that speech at the church, which was you were sharing some thoughts with a congregation at a church down, I believe it was down in Wilmington, if I'm not mistaken. When you said this material is filth, you said in your talk, if you don't understand it, come and talk to me, and I'll explain it to you. Have any of the people that are calling for your resignation come and talk to you about it?
I'm gonna tell you like this: Jeff Jackson is either he does not have enough respect for me, or he is not man enough. But he has never spoken to me. In fact, he won't even look at me eye to eye in the Senate. That is a good description of who Jeff Jackson is. He is not man enough to actually walk up to me and say anything to me. Hello, how are you? Nothing. But he is very good at typing behind the screen on Twitter. So he had his opportunity to face me like a man. He's had that opportunity several times. He has not taken it. And again, if Jeff Jackson is in support of the material that we're talking about, some of the pictures that we showed on our video and the books that are currently being displayed in our schools, I want him to come out and give his 100%, put his 100% of his support behind that, so we can know he's in favor of child pornography.
I do want to talk about, you have put up a petition to be signed, basically just saying we're standing with Mark Robinson. I actually signed it earlier this afternoon. If our listeners want to sign that, and I strongly encourage them to do so, they can go to markrobinson4nc.com/Democrats_resignation. Make it easier if you go to our webpage. We've got a link to it, encnewsandviews.com, and you can go link to the petition. I noticed earlier this afternoon there was probably about 12,000 signatures. I'd love to see in the next couple of days 100,000 signatures on this petition. And basically all you're saying is, I agree with Mark Robinson. I stand with Mark Robinson. Mark Robinson's values are my values. And we need, I want to say 100,000 there in the next few days. And I'm going to be checking on it. But and we're going to continue to push this. But Mark, has it crossed your mind that the same people that are attacking you are getting their marching orders from the same people that are telling Merrick Garland and the Justice Department to have the FBI investigate parents who are standing up against things like this, things like critical race theory, that they need to be investigated as domestic terrorists?
Absolutely. This whole thing is nothing but an attempt to intimidate voices on the right, to intimidate the opposition. I have yet to see an attorney general, whether it be at the federal level or our state level, Josh Stein, to come out and try to find any of the perpetrators who tore down Silent Sam in the middle of the night illegally, who went down and destroyed public and private property in Raleigh and many cities across the state and across the nation. Nobody's going after these folks that commit these acts of domestic, open, willing, violent acts of domestic terror on those days. And yet we're going after parents who are sending strongly worded letters to school boards and saying strong words to school board members. This is nothing but an attempt to intimidate people into silence. And I pray to God that people don't adhere to it and continue to let their voices be heard.
Lieutenant Governor, some of the same people that's come out in the last 24 hours or so regarding this issue are the same ones that came out, blasting you about your task force on critical race theory, and they know for a fact that some of these things exist in our public schools, just like they've got to know that this exists. What can we do to get the message out that, hey, it's just an attack job on Mark Robinson because they fear for the next election? I mean, what can we do?
We cannot back down. All too often, they pull these stunts and we back off. We say, well, we say, that's not really what I meant. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody. Look, I'm sorry if you are offended by the fact that somebody pointed out that there's pornography being displayed in our public schools. I'm sorry if you're offended by that, but here it is. We're not going to stop talking about that, and we're not going to stop using strong language to point out what's going on in our schools. The abuse of these children by having this stuff made available to them, by having teachers present it to them, we are not going to stand for it. We're not going to sit silent. That's how we combat this. We combat it by not backing down, and I, for one, am not going to.
Mark, I want you to know you're one of my heroes. I really mean that, because you will not back down. You double down. And, I actually think them coming after you on this might be a blessing in disguise. Because, Terry McAuliffe, there's another story in my pile of stories. Over the weekend, he's coming out and basically saying CRT doesn't exist. Critical race theory doesn't exist, and it's not being taught in our schools. He wouldn't give a definition for it. These people are running scared, and when you corner a rat, sometimes they lash out at you. And I think your task force, what you said, what you're doing, you're cornering a rat, and they don't like it.
I'm going to tell you what it's doing, Tom. See, they thought that by putting that video out, they were somehow going to expose me. What it turned out is they have exposed themselves now, because we had taken a step back and we had said, some of this stuff that's going on, we're gonna kind of take it easy on this and present this stuff in stages. But what they have done is open up the floodgates. I can guarantee the video that we put out where we show the pornographic images that are being allowed in our schools, there are parents right now who are seeing that video for the first time. Yes. They are seeing those images for the first time, and they are doggone shocked and appalled. Even people, they're showing it to people who had no idea that this is going on in our public school system. They're telling their friends. And before long, this thing is going to get exposed, and somebody, Jeff Jackson, Roy Cooper, and the folks who are allowing this at the school, you're going to have to answer to those people. So you have not exposed me. They have not exposed me. They have exposed themselves. And we're going to keep pulling the covers back and turning on the lights and watch them scramble. Well,
and the interesting thing is you talk about getting exposure and allowing certain people to see what you're talking about in this video. The News and Observer has that video up right now on their webpage. So you've taken it right to them, brother. Listen, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks for the stance you take. And let me encourage our listeners to pray for Mark, because he has got a lot of pressure. There are a lot, I'm going to call it like I see it. There are a lot of evil, mean people out there that want to cancel our lieutenant governor. Pray for him, and please go. You can go to ENC News and Views. There's a link right there to his webpage, or go directly to markrobinson4nc.com. Sign the petition. You can see the videos there, and pray for our Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson, and his wife and his family, because they are look, Mark's a brave guy, and nobody's going to take Mark down, but it's got to get to you after a while. Mark, thanks for doing what you do, and listen, your values are, I would say, are the majority of North Carolinians on these issues, no doubt.
We believe that too, and that's why we're going to keep on keeping on.
Mark, thanks a million. Appreciate it. We've got to take a time out. Stay with us. More News and Views with Tom and Benny coming right up.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet, because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also, from the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Hi, I'm Richard Langley, and after helping my grandmother with an iPad she received as a gift, I realized how many other older adults may also have challenges with their own technology.
Happy Grandma specializes in helping with any tech issue you may be experiencing. Whether it's setting up a new computer or TV, having issues with the printer or Wi-Fi, or showing you how to use your tech, we want to help you. To make it easier, we come directly to you with a smile on our face.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough, get happy.
Happy Grandma Senior Tech Support.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern living's best small town.
I'm a bit confused.
Cutting through the confusion.
Why are they forcing the vaccine on people at all?
News and views.
Should I get it? Should I not get it?
To bring you clarity and certainty.
I'm tired of it. So I'm losing trust in all of it.
Now back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in October 11th, 2021. Interesting little bit of trivia here. It was 46 years ago today that Billy Clinton and Hillary Rodham were married in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fayetteville, Arkansas. And the next day, he came out and said, "I did not have sex with that woman."
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, give him credit. I mean, he's lived through a lot. 46 years with her. Oh my goodness.
I've got to tell you, our producer Clark is on the stick. He's on the ball, man.
Told you so.
Yeah, I know. Happy Columbus Day. Look at your weather forecast. A slight chance of showers before 9 o'clock tonight. Otherwise, low around 63. Partly sunny on Tuesday, a high near 78. Clear tomorrow night, low in 61. And Wednesday and the rest of the week look pretty good. High in the mid-80s with sunshine and cool nights. So enjoy. Again, if you heard our first segment with Mark Robinson, we would encourage you to go to his website, sign his petition, Mark Robinson 4nc.com, or you can go to our website, encnewsandviews.com, and we have a link to his website. 561-8255. This thing has got me fired up. I am just irritated at the left. They never cease to amaze me, but I actually do think they're so ignorant in how they handle things that they're actually helping to get the word out. Again, as Mark just said, this video he has put out is getting to a lot of people talking about what's in our schools. He actually has now the pictures are how do I word it? They're edited so you understand what the picture would be without showing the graphic part of it.
But make no mistake, they are pornographic.
Oh yeah.
If you take out the how it's blocked, I guess you could say.
And again, some of these books are blatant pedophilia, the blatant man-boy sexual relationships, blatant, and these people ought to be arrested. As the mayor of Hudson, Ohio said a few weeks back to the school board, you either clean up this mess or you're going to get charged with a criminal offense, and it's a criminal offense.
I got to believe that if the parents of students in North Carolina schools, I've got to believe if they know about this, 90+% would oppose this being in schools. Yeah. And I'm not somebody that believes that we should be taking out all types of books, because I'm probably a little left of center of that. But this is filth. There's no other way to describe it. It has no business in schools. We can teach the English classics, we can teach math, science, history, but this is just filth. It has no place in public schools.
The excuse of, well, it's everywhere else, but it's not in my school, you better make darn sure. You better make darn sure. You better go down to your school library and demand to be able to look through what is in that library, what is being taught in the school. Don't think it is not. And I'm not saying it's in every one, but listen, this is a national issue. It's up in Loudoun County, Virginia, and it's in certain counties, and it might be in your county in North Carolina. 561-8255. Some folks want to chime in on this issue. Love to hear from you. First of all, let's go to Gary in Greenville. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Benny. Good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking my call. Yes, Mark Robinson, man, it's like Tom, you said, man, he's my hero, too. And for one statement that he just said a little while ago, he's not going to back down. I love that.
Yep.
We've finally got some conservative that's got what's called a spine that are standing up to this, and I give this man kudos, and I hope and pray to God that, God's got him here for a reason, and he is making a difference, and this is something that we need to listen to, and I'm just thankful that Mark Robinson is doing what he's doing, because if there's any books that need to be burned, and I don't want to be burning books, those books going to these schools need to be burnt on the open square, because this is absolutely evil, because let's just face it, what he spoke was the absolute truth. That's why the left hate it, because he's speaking his truth. He's standing up to it, and that's one thing they really can't stand, because he's not going to cower down, get underneath his desk in the fetal position. No, he's standing up to them, and I love that about this man. I want this man to be governor and then a senator and then, doggone it, run for president, because this guy he's got his stuff in a row. And I just thank God we got somebody that's speaking up. And, of course, our wonderful governor, His Highness Cooper, was against him, saying what he had said was adherent. But then again, coming out of Cooper's mouth, what do you actually expect? But, yeah. This guy is awesome. This guy is great, and we need to stick behind him. And I want to get on that website, I guess y'all's website, to put my signature. I will put my signature on there.
Well, again, go to our website and look for the link. It's right there on the front page, and you can link to it and go sign that.
Very good.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
You're very welcome. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you, sir. It's interesting. The News and Observer, in one of the articles, I don't know if this was today's article or the article over the weekend, the Biden White House condemned on Friday North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's comments calling transgenderism and homosexuality filth, which is taking it out of context. He didn't call transgenderism and homosexuality filth. He was talking about the educational materials. But again, they don't care. They'll make up whatever they want, and publications like the News and Observer will be happy to run with it.
And again, when have you ever heard the White House address a comment made by a lieutenant governor?
Exactly.
Except for the fact that he's a black man that won't toe the Democrat Party line. He's in a state that it may be one of the top 4 or 5 swing states in any presidential election now, without a doubt. And so, hey, they got a comment, and they got to use. I mean, everyone's using it's. Every comment, every statement made by everyone, they're reading off the same sheet of music.
Yes.
It's a plan.
Yes. Bingo. And again, the very fact that, as you mentioned to Mark, the very fact that CNN is covering this. Look, CNN, they didn't go dig up this story. It was handed to them by some Democratic operatives, take it up the chain to the Washington, D.C., and then they call up CNN and say, "Hey, cover this story. This might be good for us."
Yeah. What do they call these? What do they call these PAC or these committees that for governor races and within the DNC?
Right.
That's who provided it to them.
Bingo.
They realize that Mark Robinson's a threat to take over North Carolina in the next governor tour.
And again, we were talking during the break, and you'd mentioned several names of articulate, powerful, conservative, biblical values, strong, unafraid folks in the public eye, and the progressives hate them and are scared to death of them.
Well, you can go back as far as, you look back to 2016 Republican primaries when Ben Carson chose to run for president. Yep. Ben Carson is not only a national but an international hero. I mean, a medical genius that has accomplished things that before anyone else has.
Until he came out as a conservative.
Until he came out as a conservative, he took all the abuse, and then you go right on down the list. Since then, you got Tim Scott, you got Mark Robinson, you've got Larry Elder out in California, who they say the most vile, racist things towards him, and now Mark Robinson, and it's. If you have a black man or woman that will not toe the Democrat Party line, the liberal, progressive, Marxist agenda that they now have, they will try to destroy him because they know they cannot win the election if they ever lose the black vote, period.
And I've said since I started this program that the conservative movement will really find its legs as we get more and more African American, Black Americans that realize they have been sold a bill of goods by the progressives, by the liberals, by the Democrats. And as we get more men like Mark Robinson leading and espousing conservative values, that's when conservatism will really come into its own. And the Democrats know this. And that's why they are scared to get death, and they want to vilify and destroy guys like Mark Robinson.
And look, in this country, I mean, it's obvious that we've had a history in this country of racism. I mean, we've survived slavery. We've gone through the last, 75 years, last 50 years in particular, that we were getting close in this nation of being a nation that looked at nothing of skin color. It was about the person's character, about the person themselves. And the Democrat Party continues to try to divide people by race. And it is a absolute concentrated effort. And if you don't see it, you're willfully ignorant.
That's what critical race theory is all about. 561-8255. Is it Jen or Jim? Jan. Hey, Jan. How are you?
Hey, Jan.
Hi. Aside from politics, what this boils down to is spiritual warfare.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
That's just all there is to it. The enemy is using politics to do it. But
well, it's interesting. It's interesting because all the people that Benny just mentioned, all these black conservative men and women, Candace Owens, another one.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about them? Every one of them have strong biblical values. Every one of them. And you're right. It is spiritual warfare.
And the what you were talking. I came in a little late on the interview, but you were talking about something about somebody asking the Supreme Court to allow FBI to investigate parents who spoke against all this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nothing. I mean, the majority of those who are going to be against something like this are going to be Christians.
Yeah. Although I think there are.
I'm not saying all. I'm not
right.
saying all.
Right.
But there's a large number, and I mean they want to control everyone, but bottom line is they want to get rid of the Christians.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
I read the end of the book.
I hear you, Jan. Thanks for the call. 561-8255. You want to chime in on this or any other issue? Love to hear from you. We got to take another time out. Stay with us. Tom and Benny will be right back.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway.
Join the show, 252-561-TALK. News and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Fox News is reporting a small plane has crashed in a residential neighborhood in San Diego County. Happened about noon local time there, about 3 o'clock this afternoon here. 2 people have died in the crash. The article does not say if they were in the airplane. From the pictures, I'm assuming that they were. There are a number of other people who have been rushed to the hospital, talking about burns, injuries. It happened next door to a high school. We were just speculating as to whether or not the pilot was having engine problems. Although this plane was a twin-engine Cessna, and most of those planes can fly on one engine, but whether or not he was trying to land on like the football field of the high school, don't know. But
from the video, pretty densely populated neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, so and the local fire department representative said they expect more deaths,
fatalities. Yeah. Fox News is reporting President Biden's popularity among American voters continues to go down, and his clout amongst people in his own party continues to crater big time, and more people are avoiding Cousin Eddie. Now, this is just 9 months into his presidency. I mean, isn't this still supposed to be the honeymoon? It's a nightmare. And Terry McAuliffe, who's running for the governor of Virginia, he is now avoiding Joe Biden. I mean, he used to be Joe Biden's best buddy. Now he's avoiding him. He is talking disparagingly of the job he is doing. Stephanie Murphy, running for re-election in the House, moderate Democrat. She's told the New York Times last week that Biden's governing doesn't reflect the skills I know he must have had from his years as a legislator. What is she talking about? Biden has always been inept. The only difference is now he is senile and inept. Jim Costa, Democrat in the House, recently criticized Biden, just talking about how he has totally botched this package, the $3.5 trillion. You know, the Democrats keep coming out and say, well, if they just got it passed. I don't think so. I think the problem is that the $3.5 trillion is one of the reasons why Joe's in such trouble. Former Democrat Representative Francis O'Rourke, he's slamming Biden, which is rather interesting because he loved Biden when he was going to make him the czar of guns. Here's the bottom line, though. All these Democrats are scared to death of being attached to Joe Biden. The good news for conservatives, for Republicans, is they realize that they cannot be reelected. Of course, McAuliffe's election is this November, just in a few weeks. These others running in the House, they're going to be running in 2022. They're going to try to be reelected. And again, these are moderates that are speaking up. Well, the moderates, that means they are representing probably a purple area. They're realizing that their fanny is in the sling, that they're in trouble. And so they're running from Joe.
And it's not only politicians, you know, the political left that are part of entertainment, you know, they always want to express their opinion, and they're actually starting to come out a little bit now that they're a little disappointed in Joe Biden. And I got a question for them. I got a question for the entertainment left and the political left. What did Joe Biden do during the Democrat primary or during the normal campaign that would think he would be governing any different than what he is right now?
Good question.
I mean, the Democrat primary was absolute embarrassing for him, and the only reason he survived that because he made a deal and all the other candidates, followed like suit. But then in the general election, he just stayed in his basement and made gaffe after gaffe after gaffe that everybody ignored. So I don't know why anybody was surprised. Yeah, who are you, Joe? We know who you are. Reasonable people know who you are.
Let me change course a little bit here. This story just in from the Greenville Police Department. Earlier today, shortly before 1:30 local time, Greenville police officers responded to 1014 Apartment 4, Taylor Street, for a reported disturbance. Upon their arrival, officers encountered 21-year-old Sierra Dyer arguing with a family member over the custody of her 1-year-old daughter. An officer followed Dyer into the kitchen of the house, observed her pick up a knife, and stab the child in the back. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is the mother? When confronted by the officer, Dyer threw the knife on the floor, was immediately taken into custody. A second officer secured the child, who was transported to Vidant Center for treatment. The child is expected to make a full recovery. Dyer's been charged with attempted murder and felony charge abuse. A booking photo and bond information is available through the Pitt County Detention Center. Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Wow. People are crazy. Man, we live in a sick world.
Well, I hate to say it, but we have ignored the value of life for a long time.
Yeah.
When it comes to children, and when it comes to babies in the womb.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's an interesting point, because what's the difference between the baby in the womb being aborted and this child? You're talking about 1 year and 3 feet. I mean, basically, out of the womb, next to the mom, on the floor, 1-year-old. If that is that the child right there, Clark? If you're watching, oh, that's the mom. Wow, the mom looks like a child. Anyway,
you sure about that? Oh, okay.
So if you're watching on Facebook or online or on Cable 7, there's a picture of the person that was arrested. Whew. Sick. Mitch McConnell over the weekend, well, I guess it was last Friday, he decided to cave on the debt ceiling.
Yeah. And he caved on a Friday.
Mitch McConnell. Wrote those Mitch. He wrote a letter to Biden saying that, okay, I helped out this time, but I'm not going to do it again. I kept America from a disaster, but I'm not going to do it again. By the way, there are a lot of Republicans that are ticked at Mitch McConnell for caving on this. And I'm talking about in the U.S. Senate. Now, there are a lot of Republicans at home, including me, that are ticked that he caved on this. But he said, but, I'm not going to do it again. Mr. President, I just want to let you know that I'm not going to do it again. And, Chuckles the Clown Schumer went on the floor of the Senate and started doing a strut dance, talking about how, we got him to cave, And, boy, there were, including Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin was irritated, and I'm trying to keep this PG, really irritated that Chuckles the Clown would do that. But Joe Biden wrote this letter to the president, referenced that, and said, look, this debt ceiling was only lifted through December, mid-December, and I'm not going to do it again. Will he not do it again? I doubt it. I think he will do it again. I think he will cave again, because they always do. It'll come right before Christmas. They'll be scrambling to get it done. Everybody wants to go home for Christmas. Oh, we can't shut the government down 2 days before Christmas. He will cave again. Mark my words, he will cave again.
Mitch McConnell is just
milquetoast Mitch.
I mean, he's perfect for giving up whatever leverage he ever has in negotiations. And I think he gave up a lot of leverage here. I mean, they basically had the Democrats in a position where they would have to own this ridiculous, massive infrastructure bill, own increasing the debt limit, own a government shutdown. It's all on the Democrats.
Yeah.
And Mitch caved.
And again, if you're going to cave in early October, the chances of you caving 2 weeks before Christmas is tenfold.
Oh,
that
yeah.
You're going to cave.
Yeah. And, I mean, who says something else might happen between now and then as far as some national security issue, something where you cannot afford for a government shutdown, some national
they'll
emergency.
create one.
Yeah.
They'll create one if they have to.
Well, heck, there's one at the border if they just will look down there and see what's going on at the border.
Unbelievable. Hey, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your trade is in high demand. That means your trade in value has never been hotter.
than ever before. Get cash on the spot, even if you don't buy from us at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
I referenced this when we were talking to Mark Robinson earlier in the program. Terry McAuliffe, of course, you know, he was in a debate with the Republican running for governor up there in Virginia.
Youngkin? Youngkin?
Yeah, I think Youngkin. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it's almost as bad as Lamprecht if you're running for office. But
I saw a lot of his signs, and I was in Virginia this weekend. Saw a lot of signs.
And I think Terry McAuliffe realizes he's in trouble. Now, when they were having the debate a while back, you know, Terry McAuliffe got into trouble when he came out and said, you know, parents shouldn't have any say in what's being taught in these schools. And he doubled down over the weekend. He was in an interview, and now he's coming out, as I mentioned to Mark, he's coming out and saying, critical race theory is not being taught in the schools.
You know, I can fundamentally, in principle, I can kind of agree that parents. They shouldn't control the education agenda in schools, but this isn't an education agenda. This isn't an indoctrination agenda. You know, parents are not educational experts, but when something is being taught by like this critical race theory, parents should have a say.
Well, and you're seeing more and more parents vote with their feet.
Yeah.
And that needs to happen. And listen, I would agree that you can't have parents coming in and disrupting the classroom and telling the teacher how to teach. But parents absolutely should have a say-so, and they're going through the proper course. You go to the school board. You don't bust into the classroom and go after the teacher. You go to the school board and express yourself, and that's exactly what's happening. And as you mentioned during the break, Merrick Garland, who is the head of the DOJ, the Attorney General, who oversees the FBI, who they're talking about now looking at these parents and calling them domestic terrorists. And what does Merrick Garland's son do?
Yeah, his company sells critical race materials to public school systems. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
But Terry McAuliffe said, "No, we don't teach CRT in our public school system."
And I have yet. Now, I think when people go to a board meeting of any kind, they should be respectful. And all that. I have yet to see any violence at school board meetings. Now, I've seen a lot of school board members just flipping off and don't care what what the parents say, make fun of them.
Yeah. They disrespect the parents. The parents need to respect the school board members, but the school board members need to respect the parents.
Absolutely. I mean, they're to represent the people, not themselves.
Bingo. Hey, don't forget to go sign that petition in support of our Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. You can get to that petition page by going to our website, encnewsandviews.com. Go support our Lieutenant Governor. Hopefully he will be our governor one day. Hey, we got to run. We'll do it again on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.
We're on location at Fabric and Home Furnishings, and I'm back with my friend Lisa Pendry. And Lisa's been telling me about all the great renovations that have been going on here in the store, and I've been looking around, and it looks fantastic. Tell us what you've done here.
Well, we've knocked some walls down, we've painted, we've added some new vendors, lots of new exciting things going on. So we're making room for everybody to get what they need to transform their homes.
Looks fantastic in here. Last time we talked, you were saying that you were able to deliver a lot faster than most other furniture stores. Is that still the case?
It is. It's changed a little bit, but we're still looking at around 8 to 10 week delivery, and we do sell our floor samples right off the floor.
All right, we always say that Fabric and Home Furnishings is more than just a fabric store, so tell us what the more is all about. When people come in, what should they expect?
Well, we love to get to know our customers. I have the best crew I've ever had, and everybody on my team is an interior designer. So we offer in-home design service, which we always have, but now they can each come out to your home after they work with you in here, figure out what's going on in your residence or your commercial property to pull it together and help you make everything beautiful.
You got great folks here.
I do.
I can tell you, I haven't gotten to know them. It's like a family when you come in here, and everybody gets along well, and you can tell that these guys and gals really know what they're talking about when it comes to interior design.
They do, and that's really what makes us different. We offer complete in-home design service. We don't charge a by-the-hour fee. It's a flat one-time fee. We work with you in here, in your home, in your business, and help pull everything together.
All right, it's more than just a fabric store. Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village. Come see this lady. She's fantastic. Fabric and Home Furnishings. Come see the renovations here in Arlington Village. And thank you for the visit today.
Thank you, Henry.
All right, you got to come see what they've done in the store here on Arlington Boulevard in Arlington Village.